Hello, little man. Boy, I sure heard a bunch about you. See, I was a good friend of your dad's. We were in that Hanoi pit of hell together over 5 years. Hopefully, you'll never have to experience this yourself, but when two men are in a situation like me and your dad were for as long as we were, you take on certain responsibilities of the other. If it had been me who'd not made it, Major Coolidge, you'd be talking right now to my son, Jim. The way it turned out, I'm talking to you. Butch, I got something for you. This watch I got here was first purchased by your great-grandfather during the First World War. It was bought in a little general store in Knoxville, Tennessee. Made by the first company to make wristwatches. Up till then, people just carried pocket watches. It was bought by Private Doughboy Orion Coolidge on the day he set sail for Paris. This was your great-grandfather's war watch, and he wore it every day he was in that war. And he'd done his duty, went home to your great-grandmother, took the watch off, put an old coffee can, and in that can it stayed till your granddad, Dane Coolidge, was called upon by his country to go overseas and fight the Germans once again. This time they called it World War II. Great-grandfather gave this watch to your granddad for good luck. Unfortunately, Dane's luck wasn't as good as his old man's. Dane was a Marine, and he was killed, along with all the other Marines at the Battle of Wake Island. Granddad was facing death. He knew it. None of those boys had any illusions about ever leaving that island alive, so 3 days before the Japanese took the island, your granddad asked a gunner on an Air Force transport named Wanaki, man he'd never met before in his life, to deliver to his infant son, who he'd never seen in the flesh, his gold watch. 3 days later, your granddad was dead, but Wanaki kept his word. After the war was over, he paid a visit to your grandmother, delivering to your infant father his dad's gold watch. This watch. This watch was on your daddy's wrist when he was shot down over at Hanoi. He was captured, put in a Vietnamese prison camp. He knew that if the gooks ever saw the watch, it'd be confiscated, taken away. The way your dad looked at it, this watch was your birthright. You'd be damned if any slope's gonna put the greasy yellow hands on his boy's birthright, so he hid it. In one place he knew he could hide something, his ass. 5 long years he wore this watch, up his ass. Then he died of dysentery. He gave me the watch. I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass 2 years. Then, after 7 years, I was sent home to my family, and now, little man, I give the watch to you.
Christopher Walken at his best. Another Pulp Fiction clip. That is... I couldn't even... If I wanted to, I couldn't even edit that down just because you can't play the watch clip from Pulp Fiction without playing it in its entirety because Christopher Walken is a frickin' genius when it comes to performing serious monologues, because what he would do is he would take 2 shots of Tabasco sauce and then go do the scene. And it would only take 1 take. Because if he stammered or slipped up, he'd go and take another shot of Tabasco sauce, and then he'd be like, okay, let's do this. Christopher Walken. Such an accomplished actor. Right? Just amazing. Good old CW. Need more cowbell. Got a fever. And the only prescription, more cowbell. Oh. Fuck. So, yeah, and welcome back. And I did find out how much a parade actually costs. A parade costs, like I said, about $50,000 to have. So that's the whole lack of funding is beyond me. What else are they spending their money on? Like, if not on the parade, if your vehicle floats need the floats that drive the vehicles that drive the floats need repair and they need to be updated. Why aren't they using that money? It's beyond me. Okay, so I've been following the Bill Cosby thing for a little bit now, and he has zero remorse. Like, how? And people idolized him in the early 90s because he was Dr. Huxtable. He was a family man. He was family oriented. You never expected that he would be drugging people and raping them. Now Bill Cosby's 81, legally blind, and they're about to sentence him to death. Or not sentence him to death, they're sentencing him to 10 years, about to sentence him to 10 years in prison. And I find that to be ridiculous because then he's in prison for 10 years. He's going to be 91 when he is released. That's if he even makes it to 91. Because they say that he's capable of reoffending. How? He's legally blind. He couldn't reoffend if he wanted to. And any money, he can't get it up. And if he's shooting loads, he's shooting blanks. He's shooting dust pellets into your vagina. So what his defense counsel wants to do is have him sentenced to house arrest for 10 years. Good. He can't leave his own home for 10 years. Good. Let him go and do that because it's really, really sad when you want to do that to a 91-year-old man, a guy that's 81. That's the defense's argument is that he's old, frail, and legally blind and should be sent home on house arrest for, I'd say, at least 6 years or until death. Because, honestly, Bill Cosby, he's probably only got, maybe 4 years left in him. To me, he's still an icon. Because I grew up watching him. Ghost Dad was one of my favorite Bill Cosby movies. And it still is. I love that movie. It's a childhood classic. I'll find some Ghost Dad clips because I'm not afraid to post Bill Cosby clips. And I wish I could conduct an interview with Bill Cosby. I'm going to try to hook that up. We'll arrange that. I'm so popular and, intertwined with comedy and all the other comedians in the world. I'm not. That's a lie. I wish I was. Again, if anybody has any contacts with the Illuminati, give them my number. Again, I just won't do drugs. You can say all this mean shit you want about me. I won't give a shit. It's the joy of growing up and fucking in Canada. We just don't care if you're mean to us. And I've been also following the Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem feud. I guess you could say that. And apparently both tracks that at one point that were released were produced by the same guy. Oh, what a sad world we live in where, you can't even come up with an original producer. You have to use the same guy that your rival used. And who the fuck is Machine Gun Kelly? This is the first I'm hearing of this guy. And he looks like he was raped in prison, and he's upset about that, and he blames Eminem. Some big black guy stretched out my asshole. Fuck you, Marshall Mathers. It's all your fault. I'm the rap devil. You're not the rap devil, you're the rap bitch. In order to be a rap devil, you gotta actually accomplish something in the rap industry. Instead of picking, a fight with a big dog. Picking a rap battle with Eminem is like picking a fight with having a guitar battle with Slash of Guns N' Roses. You can't fucking do it. Eminem, I'm going with you on this one. Machine Gun Kelly is just trying to become famous by picking fights with bigger people. I can see it, and that's just lazy. If you want to make a name for yourself in the music industry, go on The Voice. I know they don't have any, like, rap shows where you can go on and compete. Sorry. Get a job. I know a lot of places don't hire people with, face tattoos, but, you made your decision when you were in prison. I'm pretty sure you thought it was valid, but, when a guy gets his face tattooed while he's in prison, that just shows that he was somebody's bitch at some point. Yeah. That's just a theory of mine. I have a lot of theories. They don't really always pan out.
We have a high roller.
9,104. I counted it. Twice.
I like your style.
Well, Joe told me to count it twice.
No more bets, please, ladies and gentlemen. Bets down. Bets down.
So do I just throw it and get a 7?
That would be very good, sir.
Feeling lucky?
I'm guided by a force much greater than luck.
7, a winner!
Baby, you are sex.
I know.
Same lucky shooter. Get your bets down, please, ladies and gentlemen. Hot shooter on the line.
You know what? Let it ride.
Hot dice coming out.
That's an $18,000 bet. You sure you know what you're doing, kid?
I know this, that if I win this role, I will save the place that I work from being sold and the jobs of my friends that work there, thus striking a blow at all that is evil and making this world a better place to live in.
Huh?
And I'll buy you guys a drink.
Hey,
No more bets, please, ladies and gentlemen. Get your bets down.
Joe, this one's for you.
2, rest, and a roll.
You know something? You used to be cute.
you used to have 9,000 bucks.
I wonder if I'll be held responsible for this.
Empire Records. I found a decent clip. I love that movie. That movie was awesome. It was like another teen... I don't know what to call it. Not a cult classic, but it was an indie... Kind of like an indie picture. Had a young Liv Tyler, Renee Zellweger, Rory Cochrane, and... Oh, what's that guy's name? He played Joe. I'm trying to remember his name. Anthony LaPaglia. That's it, Anthony LaPaglia. Just a great a great cast. Oh man, Robin Tooney was even in that, and you wouldn't even recognize her because she played Robin. Her hair, or played Deborah. Her hair was shaved. You couldn't tell it was her. You had to watch the movie a couple times later on in life, just to be like, holy shit, that is Robin Tooney. Oh my god, what the fuck is going on? But again, so many good actors in the show, in that movie, and it makes me feel old because Facebook keeps on updating me with all these old TV shows, like Home Improvement being 27 years old. I'm like, fuck off, really? Shit, I'm old. Oh, man. I'm just trying to figure out how long. Because I post everything. 23 years ago. 23 years ago yesterday, Empire Records was released. And the best scene in that, and I can't find the clip, and that's the acid trip boat where one of the kids is watching Gwar on MTV, and then all of a sudden Gwar is in Empire Records, tormenting and torturing this poor kid. Oh, but Gwar is such a good band. Devin, again, it leads somewhere. Empire Records had Gwar in it. Devin's favorite band. One of Devin's favorite metal bands was Gwar. And he saw Gwar so many times. After he saw Gwar the first time, he came up and he's just like... And he just started... It sounded like he was screaming at me, but he was standing near the speakers and he was talking very loudly. And he smelled like a really bad fish and stale vinegar. And I'm like,